So I have taught in these monthly connections in my classes in the past, the importance of acknowledging the different fields, energy fields, auras, energy fields that come up when we connect with higher consciousness. Now, if you're not doing readings, apply this to your own life when you interact with other people. You know, everything in creation has a field around it. Those cells, the individual cells of your body, are fields of energy. The systems in your body are fields of energy. The organs have their own frequency. They're fields of influence that flow into each other. You as a being are a field of energy. We call that field an aura. So when I talk about doing readings, I say pay attention to the fact that there is a medium with a field, your client with a field, and the spirits who come through have their own fields. And together you create a group field that we call the reading field. And you energize that field with your intention so that your full focus is there. This is why we do this invocation at the beginning of these programs, because we create a field of the monthly connection. I want to come out of this share for just a minute. I just want to feel more connected with all of you. We've been meeting for years, and some of you have been meeting with us since the beginning. You know this energy, and you have added to it. It's the monthly connection field. And those of you who are new to it are feeling that energy. It has its own frequency, and you're adding to it. And whatever is added is always then in the field. So keep that in mind as I go back to my slides now. Okay, so the teaching that ensued has to do with the fact, where are we? Here we go. That we so often fail to think in terms of field dynamics. And Joy said the other day, the light of one soul outshines the field of mindless humanity. That was a really amazing statement. If you put together all of the humans, in not the souls of the humans, but the field around just the human mind that doesn't realize we are all one awakened soul outshines that in vibration. Can you see how powerful it is as you accept your divinity? So think about fields. And when I talk about field effects, imagine you're making a connection with loved ones. Just thinking about another one does what I call lighting up a circuit with that other person. So you energize that circuit, and all realities are interpenetrating. I've given my lessons from a carpet talk before, that this is a picture of a carpet I saw that reminds me of how the spirit world isn't apart from us. It interpenetrates our own different frequencies. It's like this picture here. Every reality is nested within each other at different frequencies. And fractal means a cell is to the systems in the body is to the body, like the body's field is to the field of the body of humanity as it is to the angels' field. You see, fractal means self-similar. So you can go outward in size and downwards in size. It's all fields influencing each other, flowing in and out of each other. And I've used this analogy to show you how we interact in the past as well. This is a little sifting pan that I used when I was panning for Herkimer diamonds in New York. And you got two pans, one with a big wide mesh and one with a narrow mesh. And you put them together and you sift the dirt, and the real gems stay on top. And the teaching that came with this analogy is the more we open our heart and our minds and become spacious in our awareness, like plump, juicy grapes, now we can use that analogy, instead of shriveled up frequency, the bigger gems from above can slip through. these nested realities, okay? So be aware of field influences. So the teaching that Mavis came back to give me, she showed up with Gordon Higginson standing behind her. And if you have not read my book, Droplets of God, it's the yellow one on top of that stack back there. It's Mavis's biography that I had the honor of writing. There's a whole bunch in there about Gordon Higginson, one of the greats of spiritualism and mediumship. And he showed up in my field, sitting in the chair over there. When Mavis showed up, day after she showed up recently, and said, this is the big teaching, drum roll. Suzanne, there is a mediumship field, not just a reading field. Just like we have a monthly connection field, there is a field from every reading ever given with all of the greats, Mavis Pittilla, Gordon Higginson, Janet Nohavec, Emma Hardinger Britton, name them all, Albert Best, Andrew Jackson Davis. I could go on and on. All of their consciousness exists in the mediumship field. And all of the great evidence and the energy of joy that came with that exists in the field. And because it's all fractal, when you sit to connect with higher consciousness, whether it's as a medium in a personal reading for someone or just to connect with higher consciousness, that reading field is nested within the mediumship field. So use it. What did God say about cells and us and the God force that flows through us? Feed off of it. Joy is speaking absolutely, literally, energetically. It's all energy. I'm going to go back to the slides here. How do we activate a connection with the field? We light it up with intention. I want to connect with my clients, even though we've never met, and all of their loved ones. Your intention energizes, that's the yellow line here, energizes that field and only that field, even though all others are present. That's where your awareness is. So with your intention, when you sit to connect with higher consciousness, call on the mediumship field. Not each medium in it. They may be busy, but that field exists to use, to feed off of, to pull that higher energy. I was going to share with you the evidence that came through in the next reading I did after receiving that from Mavis. It was so off the charts, I was thrilled, but now it's not the time. I'll share it next month. Gold nuggets, clarity that just left my jaw dropping. And there's Mavis in the background saying, what'd we tell you? We're all here to support you. But not just me. Any medium who's here to serve spirit. Anyone who wants to connect with their own loved one, even if you're not a medium, call on the mediumship field. And here's where we can take this teaching even further. You can extrapolate that and say, well, then there is an artist field with Van Gogh, and name the artist, Monet and Picasso, and all of their energy. As an artist, call on them. There's a musician's field. There's any field you want. There's a healing field with all of the best healers who have ever existed and still exist. Sit in that field and activate it through your intention. I wish to energize this field. So I could go on and on, but I know you get the drift and get the teaching. It's profound. At least for me, I had never even considered it before. And I love that Mavis gave me that droplet of God, which is what she called insights from the spirit world. And now she's dropping them for us. So there's one other caveat to this, and I know it was a lesson for me. I woke up this morning, oh boy, it's monthly connection night. I wake up feeling good, and then something came over me. Oh, the dogs barked at the neighbor. I dropped my phone. They pulled the leash. All of a sudden, just a bunch of things happening all at once, and all of a sudden I was crabby, and I was really out of sorts, but much more out of sorts than I needed to be, and it confused me. And so I asked, what's going on here? And Sanaya answered, let me pull up the screen. You must also teach about field effects that linger, that you are constantly in the presence of other fields. And just like I've taught you all to notice when your energy is out of balance, if you notice a restriction, constriction in the flow, you can simply say a prayer, God, remove this blockage. Standing there crabby as can be, I said, God, remove any fields that are energized, de-energize them now so that I return to the most beneficial state possible and the most joyous state attuned with you so that I have a joyful day, feeling the connection, and can do this session tonight with a clear field. And just like that, I was completely back in a joyous state. We ask and our prayers are answered. So in the military, we would put tags on things when you weren't supposed to use a piece of equipment. So I just want you to remember that word, energize. We light up a field with our intention. And when you're finished, if you don't want to keep that energy activated, you simply say, take it away now. It doesn't really go anywhere. You can use whatever words you want. Just remember, when you're feeling off balance, it's not always just a blockage in your flow. It could be the residual effects of some field. You may have interacted with someone, and we'll be talking about that next month as well, whose energy field is affected.